What an amazing time of year it is now, spring. Oh gosh, I love spring. And the weather's been really strange, as in it's been really good actually for my garden, because we've had heat and then we've had rain and then we've had warmish days and then we've had rain. So I haven't had to water that much in my garden and everything is just responding so well. So today it's 24 degrees thereabouts, maybe a little bit warmer, and we've had so much rain that everything's like happy. But it's also at the stage where things are just starting. We've got the apple tree here that's got little tiny apples on it, but we've got things like this volunteer lettuce in front of me that is going to seed, and many of the things in the vegetable gardens behind me are also going to seed. So today my job is to enjoy this garden and just clean out some of the space. I'm going to clean up some of the vegetables that are finished. I'm going to preserve and use as many as I can in different ways, including using their leaves and any part of the plants that I can. So I'll utilise what we have in here. And the chickens are going to get a really good feed too. So they're going to have a smorgasbord of greens that come out here as well. And we'll open up and see how much space we've got. I've still got vegetables that are growing, like broad beans started about maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago. I started picking broad beans and they're going gangbusters behind me. So I'll be picking some of those actually tonight, I think, for tea. So they're still pumping away and taking up space or real estate in the beds. And we've got some dahlias that have started back here. So I planted them in about April. I think I planted them in April. They're all springing up, so we'll have dahlias in there soon, flowering. And yeah, I've got lots of things that are going on in here that we're waiting on, blueberries and things like that. But let's see how much space we've got, because over in my hothouse, I've got so many varieties of tomatoes and other summer vegetables that are waiting to go in. And this is one space that they can go into. So let's do that today. So here we have all the lettuce. Now, believe it or not, I've still been eating this lettuce even though it's going to seed, because it's still sweet. It's been a champion in the garden. And behind it we have the kale, which I am going to take out and feed to the chickens, although I might collect some of the leaves. And there's about 3 different kale plants in the garden. So there's some at the back there, and then hiding down underneath there is the dahlias. You can see the leaves of the dahlias hiding in there. So that's them here. So they're trying to come up. They haven't got a lot of light with all this above them. And that's the stalk of the lettuce. And I will be saving a lettuce to go to seed, but some of that will come out. This is a loose leaf lettuce here that I just grew that one plant of that. And we've got beetroot. I've been pulling this out, but there's still a bit left. And I've been picking the broccoli sprouts from broccoli. It's not a sprouting broccoli, it's from an actual broccoli. For quite a while now. They're starting to get a little bit thin and spindly. I probably could still pick a few of these, but I'm not going to bother with these now. They can come out and open up that space. I've got a couple of cabbages hiding behind there that have struggled to do anything without light. They'll probably take off. And then over here we have celery that is trying to go to seed. And what I've decided to do, because that is on the edge of a garden area over there, that's yet to be cleaned up, but I'm going to let the back one go to seed, so the seeds will fall down outside this garden bed, and I will pull out the rest of those. When I say pull out, I'm going to cut them right down to the base. They may re-sprout again, but I'm going to cut them down. I will try the stalks to see if they're edible, and if they are, I will process them into the freezer. Now across the back we have the snow peas that are finished, but I have deliberately let some on. I don't know how many pods I'm going to get, probably get enough to plant them again next year. Yeah, I think I'll probably get just enough to plant them next year, so I'm letting those pods get bigger and bigger. You see this one down here. So I'm letting them fill out. I'm hoping I'll get some seed out of that because they were pretty good. And more random bits and pieces. Now that I think that's actually a rainbow chard. So that I will cut back so it continues to grow. I think these two. I think I'll keep these for now. I do have them in other places, so I will decide whether I want to keep them in here. Now these put on a magnificent display. They're looking tatty now because they're going to seed, but these primulas are beautiful when they flower, and they're starting to get seeds on them now. In fact, I wonder if there's any in there. Not sure if they are. Oh, that's ants. Yeah, they look like, let me get close up. See if I can get right in there. You can see right in, come on. Well, I can see them. There's little black seeds inside there. So I'm going to let some of them drop, but I will collect some of those as well at some stage. If it's not today, at some stage, they'll be coming up. Out. Now we'll see over here, we've got the white cabbage butterflies are starting to come out. Let me zoom in for you. Oh, just went. And across the back here I have massive plants, and they are the collards. I can see the size of the leaves. I should have been harvesting them a bit more diligently, and they are trying to go to seed too. Those seed heads too I've been eating like broccoli, so I will harvest some of them. This ranunculus is going to seed here. I haven't grown them from seed. I'm going to look up to see if that's a thing that's favourable to do, if you like. Otherwise, the corms in the ground will obviously multiply. Now over here we have something trying to do its business on my cauliflower, but that is a fully formed cauliflower, which I didn't realise was in there. So that's my hand span. Don't know if you can see it. So it's about the size of my hand span, but you can see evidence of somebody trying to have a go at here, but they've probably just had a go at the leaves. It's a pretty healthy plant. So, and over here, this one will have to be picked first because it's just starting to open up. You can see that's just starting to open up. I definitely need to pick that today. It's a good thing I came out today. And hiding behind here, what have we got here? We have got a babaco that I threw into this soil just to strike it, and it looks like it is striking. I don't want it in this ground, in this bed, but it looks like I've struck it successfully. We've got some lobelias under there trying to flower, and some of the first tomatoes that I put in that have been protected by all these plants around here. So the frost hasn't affected them. They're happy as anything. And beside, there's one here, and one over there. Yeah. So there's three there about a foot apart. These are a dwarf variety, and this here is a Chinese broccoli that is going to seed that can come out, because beside it is another one that I have been deliberately growing seeds on. So there's plenty of seeds on that plant. The other two beside it can come out. And if we step back, I've got a red cabbage here. I'm not sure how that's going to go. It looks like it's starting to form a head now. And I've got these so-called early cabbages that I'm still waiting for. And they're growing, they're really big now. It's very hard to see the scale in the garden. And then above them is all my broad beans. And you can see there's so many broad beans on here. And if you feel them, I pick them when they're really full and hard. And there's a lot that can be picked, like that's a really good one, that one. There's a lot that can be picked now. And as I go through, I'll be looking for leaves that are yellowing, like that one down there. See this one here? And I'll be removing those. And the reason is it's like a red flag for bugs, because bugs will attack stressed plants or stressed parts of plants, and they're the finishing leaves underneath, so I like to remove them. This is a spinach that was given to us. I'm not sure what the variety is, but it's been a wonderful spinach. It looks actually like my perpetual spinach, so it may be. It looks almost identical. Got a feeling that's what it is. That has been happily giving us a lot of spinach in here. It's going to seed as well. So I need to decide whether I'm just going to cut that back and let it go a bit longer, or cut it right back. And we've got lots of carrots that are well and truly finished that all need to come out. I have pulled a lot out, but there is more in there. They may not, or there may be little tiny carrots on the end of there. I don't think that carrots in there were that successful, to be honest. I pulled out fairly small carrots out of this area. I think I overplanted too, which didn't help. More kale. This kale hasn't bolted yet. So I may leave that, because all of this beetroot is trying to bolt. Now some of these leaves can be used. And I know I do have some decent sized beetroot amongst some of this, and the others will be average because of, again, overplanting. But that's okay. So there's some, what was at the back of there? Kohlrabi, and a very happy bee on it. So at some stage I'll cut that when the bee's finished. And what is this? This is a, what was that, a parsnip? No, turnip. That was a turnip. How pretty are the flowers on a turnip? Aren't they gorgeous? It's quite a showy plant. Some vegetables are quite pretty. I mean, you imagine if you had a few of them go to seed together, that'd be just as ornamental as some so-called ornamentals. Now I did start to get a disease in here from the lack of circulation for the beetroots, but they're all coming out. That's, again, that's a curly kale that's finishing up too. So you can see by just looking at this part of the video, there's a lot that's going to be chopped out. Now I won't be pulling them out by the roots, because all the energy this plant, or all these plants, have gone to the trouble to produce all this beautiful food in their roots for all the activity that goes on underneath that soil. And I want to preserve that activity, so I'll be cutting the plants that I take out at soil level and just leaving the roots in the soil so I don't disrupt the soil in any way, and that will go back into feeding that soil. I'm not robbing this garden of anything. So anything that I put on it is just going to be adding to it, and I'm not necessarily taking too much away apart from what the plants take away. But really, they do a lot to look after the soil beneath them, as well as taking what they need. And between the family of plants that are in here, all of these different varieties, the way I interplant, all of these nurture each other beneath the soil level. And that is the advantage of interplanting and growing vegetables and plants this way. So before we get to work, and I'll probably be in fast forward for you, these are the blueberries we're waiting to come on. You can see the little baby blueberries, and they're nice and safe. The little birds can get into this cage, but the big birds can't. And so far I haven't had any real problems with the little birds eating the blueberries, so we shall see. But at the moment I haven't netted any of this, and I'm looking forward to lots of blueberries because I've found that there's a real concern about what is sprayed on our blueberries. Yes, this has got an issue here. I think too much sun on that one for some reason, or something's going on with this one. But the blueberries are fine. Very different. They're different varieties too. And over here is my panache fig that I have deliberately taken figs off it as it's been growing to so it can grow up nice and big. And it's in a pot, and I'm going to try and esplanade it across the wall of this bed when it gets a little bit bigger. What's that going to seed? That's our lettuce going to seed. You see here the seed head on them. And more primulas underneath there, and I think there's some strawberries hanging around in there too. All right, let's get to work. So I've cleaned out this area, and this is pretty empty now, but there were some baby beetroots that I would probably normally leave behind, although there's one I left at the back. I would normally leave them behind, but because they started to get that rust, whatever it is, on it, I have pulled them all out. Now that is the one thing that I have pulled out by its roots. Any root vegetables I pull out by the roots. So there's a little tiny turnip that I've harvested from there. I've cut the tops of the lettuce that stayed sweet, and I've put them in the basket so that we can eat that, and the top of one of the beetroot that the leaves are quite nice and young, so I can add them to salads. Now I've saved one each of these lettuces. This is the most robust of the two of these lettuces that I grew, and this one over here, the one I showed you before that had seeds already forming, I've pushed it back. It did crack as I did it, but I think it'll still be all right. I pushed it back against the wall, and I've tied it to the wall out of the way. But you'll be able to see now how clear this is, and now you can see how big even the dahlias are. There's a bit of a bait I've got in there, which isn't anything poisonous in there, that's been catching little bugs, but that dahlia has been nibbled on, but at the start they were being nibbled to the ground, so it's done something to it. I've left the kale in the corner but taken the bottom leaves off it, and now the spring onions that are growing here, and I think that's walking onions. Yes, it's walking onions on the very edge there that don't really have a lot of room, but they can grow now. But you'll see the roots that I've left in here. Now if they start to grow, I'll probably cut them again. But now we've opened that up, that's fine. And you can see how good the soil is, even just from the top. That has had a little bit of compost a few weeks ago, sprinkled on top too. Nice compost that I brought back from Marty's garden in New South Wales. So I've put that in there, and now we'll take out these brassicas, these broccoli, but you can see the pile I've got on the ground already for the chickens. They have got plenty to eat, and I am tempted to stagger it, give them that while it's fresh and then give them this, but I know my time limitations, and if I don't do a certain amount tonight with this, it won't get done in time. So that's the strategy that's most important, get it done. So fresh is best for the chickens where possible, but get it done is more important. That's all cut back. I've left a little bit on the one in the back, but over here, that's the one I'll let go to seed. Now, it wasn't the biggest one because it was crowded out, not necessarily because it wasn't the healthiest one, but it's in the place I need it to be, out of the way, so I can go to seed out of the way. The beds can still be used. So, and I chopped the tops of these off just to see if I can get some fresh growth from it and just some new food from it before I use this bed. Once I start using it, because I'm not sure what day I'll do that, then I'll cut them all to the ground. But at the moment, see all this fresh young growth on the stems, like even when I touch it, you can see how tender that is. That is all good eating, good broccoli eating. Tastes just like the tops do. So you get a lot of food from the plant even when it's finished. Sorry, I'm rocking you, I'll make you seasick. On the floor is a massive pile for the chickens, which I'll give them now. And over here we have all the celery that I'll process tonight. And over here we have the lettuce and a little bit of beetroot leaves. That beetroot was actually baby beetroot, which is grown for the leaves, not for the roots, and it definitely, the results of that, you get lots of foliage, tender foliage, but not necessarily the roots. So I probably won't grow that again because I find the foliage on your regular beetroots that grow really big, and I like the yellow one, the golden beetroot, is quite tender enough and good eating, and I would rather have the opportunity of getting a nice big beetroot at the end of it as well. So after this I moved on to the other side, but not until I had to wait out a little bit of a shower. So it was a bit tricky to record the rest of this. I will show you what I got out of it to take into the kitchen. This is the vegetables that we got before, but I also got some turnips and carrots and beetroot and lots of broad beans and a few other things as well. So there they are on the chair. So I took all that in as well, and most of the other side has been cleared pretty much. There's still some little carrots still in there and a few other bits and pieces that I'm letting grow on at the moment. Now, as I cleared, I didn't take it all to the chickens. You can see this whole area that was exposed soil, I chop and dropped into it. So I'm basically composting in place or just mulching and protecting the soil. I came out to my mulberry. Something's been pulling them through here, I think. I don't think it's been growing through, it could be. And I noticed some dark mulberries on it. They were beautiful and sweet, so I've eaten what was on here that were left. But I'm going to throw a sheet down and see if I can take the netting off enough to catch some on the ground.